Здравствуйте, зрители! Вот это вторая часть прохождения The Stanley Parable. Тут я вам покажу еще несколько концовок.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Давайте я вам покажу сейчас еще две концовочки. И будет еще третье видео.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Давайте
This was
пройдем.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Говорит, Стэнли зашел сразу в левую комнату, но мы зайдем сюда, и там будет довольно такая хорошая
Stanley was
концовка.
so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Поехали.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust
Так,
in
надо
someone else
запрыгнуть
can
на
be
вот этот
difficult,
бортик.
but the fact is that... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Вот мы попали в какой-то подвал, давайте пройдем дальше.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Так, я сейчас одну секунду отключу субтитры, потому что тут существует такой баг у меня, вот, да, просто крякнутая версия и, ну, то есть не лицензия, короче. И тут такой все-таки баг есть. Сейчас отключу субтитры, давайте. Так. Вот. Вот. Он сказал в красную, мы пойдем в синюю.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ну, я сейчас вам переведу. Он типа сказал, ты меня неправильно понял, Стэнли зашел в красную дверь. Но мы снова пойдем в синюю.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Он типа, что Стэнли зашел именно в красную дверь. Но мы пойдем в синюю по-любому. В синюю. Ага.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley.
Давайте теперь включим обратно наши субтитры. Вот, у нас там загружается, мы перешли на другую территорию. Не, ребят, что это только что было? Я случайно снова все... Ну давайте быстро добеди. Я не на то нажал случайно вообще. Не обращая на все, что он говорит, мы пройдем до того момента. Конечно, случайно нажать это.
When Stanley came to a set of two open... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact... What? Really? I was in the middle of something.
Ладно, давайте отключим эти сразу субтитры, потом и включим. Чтобы надо осторожнее, чтобы снова случайно. Вот, я случайно нажал на начать игру. Вот, продолжить игру. Давайте пройдем.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it.
Вот Стэнли пошел в красную дверь, мы пойдем в синюю.
Now listen
Понятно.
carefully, this is important.
Не по сюжету
Stanley
пойдем.
walked through the red door.
Вот в Steam.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road?
Ладно, так, давайте теперь включим субтитры, только осторожно. Вот полный комментарий, окей. Назад и...
You've chosen well, don't let
Так,
me stop
идемте
you.
по коридору.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Вот он создал нам новую дверь. Я еще не ходил, что будет. Я думаю, что тут будет продолжение сюжета. Давайте пойдем все-таки в эту дверь.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Давайте поставим ему один очень скучную игру, нам забавно. Вот, мы там ставили как. Не. А вот мы вот тут вот стоим. Давайте поставим ему один.
A one? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a one? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Тут у нас появился какой-то экран. Написано Stanley Parable. Тут доска лидера мирового размера. Тут, походу, пишется... О, вот он я. Я 9328. The Stanley Online. Ладно, давайте пройдем. Снова в эту дверь у нас попросил.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
Давайте поставим ему единицу снова. Очень скучная карта вообще.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Он новую игру какую-то придумал. Сейчас посмотрим.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Короче, он нам сказал, типа, что надо в эту игру 4 часа играть, но мы 4 часа не будем играть, потому что эта игра ужасно действует на нервы, и вы в этом сейчас сами убедитесь. Ну вы поняли, поэтому мы дадим ему сгореть, короче, потому что это очень скучная игра.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Нас закинули в Майнкрафт, ребят.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had
Гляньте, облака даже двигаются, как Майнкрафт.
absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete.
Типичный домик нуба.
I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining. Oh, my. It looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no,
Ребят,
no,
реальный
no, no. This is
Майнкрафт.
far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game. Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Нас в еще одну игру закинули.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the
Ой. Где это? Я, походу, попал бету какой-то игры. И я, скорее всего, думаю, что это бета из Stanley Parable. Сейчас посмотрим, что там. Пожалуйста. Давайте прыгнем. Вот. А, это альфа-Т, The Stanley Parable, бета. Ну, короче, это The Stanley Parable. Прыгаем туда вниз, там какой-то низ есть. О, вот-то упали. Да, это Stanley Parable вообще не доделанная, короче. Давайте сюда пойдем. Тут не ясно, куда идти вообще. О, тут еще. Ну, где мы? Что так темно, вообще ничего не видно. Куда идти? Давай сюда пойдем. О, свет. Свет. О, мониторы стоят. Давайте, к свету. Там темно. Мы идем к свету. О, компьютер. Давайте пройдем. Стоп. 427. Это же тот кабинет, в котором он работает, в принципе. Да. Так, можно что-то нажать? Можно. Не. Тоже какой-то там видеокамера. Наблюдение зачем-то. Ладно, давайте, я вижу ничего, потому что там как-то пройти можно.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Это что, типа концовка, наверное, была, да? Ну вот я вам показал, в принципе, одну концовку. Да, это была концовка. Давайте еще одну концовку будет, я покажу, давайте вам. Ну, идемте.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ребята, в прошлой серии вот у меня вместо этой картины был китаец. И это была как раз пасхалка, поскольку... Ну, сейчас все самое видите. Вот это вот я вам хотел показать. Нажимаете на эту картину несколько раз, и тут таец. Я не знаю, может создатель игры это. Employee of the Year. Я не знаю, что такое employee. Давайте, короче. Ну, я вам показал.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Опа, эту концовочку еще не искал. Смотрите, я нашел дверь. Давайте посмотрим, мне тоже самому интересно.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ну как-то, это что, типа не концовка? Давайте дверь за собой. Уже что должно же быть интересно.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow. Just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Говорит, что тут ничего нету, но может тут что-то есть.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
То есть мы просто стоим и нифига не делаем. Печально.
Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Качные ключи тут. Скотч.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. Not to mention,
Блин, ну тут же что-то должно произойти.
maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this consoling.
Чё, прикольная концовка, смотри.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ай-яй-яй. Стэн.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here, when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at...
Короче, он нас попускает, поскольку мы хотим другую концовку, нам надоели. Эти, мы хотим другую концовку, он меня попускает, что я сдох. Это плохо.
the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
Ничего подобного, не выйду. Я живой. Я буду тут стоять. Переноси меня куда-то в другое место. Я не хочу идти по сценарию. И что, так и все и будет? Типа, я по любасу должен выйти отсюда? Не, я так не сделаю. Тут есть какой-то... Закройся. Тут есть какой-то проход. Я знаю, тут должно быть что-то. Я вообще впервые увидел, чтобы дверь открывалась. Я не знал до этого, что могут дверь открыть. И ну я в принципе увидел, что он дергает за ручку. Я думал, что двери только те, что по сюжету он говорит планом идти. Но теперь я буду внимательнее смотреть на все двери. А можно я тут посижу? Я не хочу. Вот тут сяду и посижу. Вот тут. Они тоже прикольно. Смотрите, лампочка вот. Веник. Что, типа надо полюбаспить? Ну. Думаю, какая-то сейчас концовочка прикольная выйдет. Можно тут что-то нажать. Дверь закройся. Не собираюсь туда выходить. Я должен как-то... Может, я не знаю. Чего они? Ладно.
Second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you.
А если снова кто-то?
You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Да ну. Нет. Я буду стоять тут. Посмотрим, сколько у нас по времени там. Нормально по времени. Эх, ладно, я вижу, тут нечего делать, идем.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Может, тут какие-то, я не знаю, окно, что ли, открывается.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known that. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Блин, может тут что-то есть, а? Я вижу только по лифте и придется. Так, это больше ничего не вижу, что можно. Я думаю, в кладовке что-то произойдет, что-то не так, и все. Я думаю, там что-то будет.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
А мы пойдем сюда. Ля-ля-ля-ля-ля.
Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Навстречу смерти. Прыгай. Опа, где это мы? А!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Нет. Что?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
А. О, смотрите.
And yet it would be
Stanley
just a
Parable.
few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Это, походу, целый музей по всей игре. Вот это коридор, где нам с выбор между двумя дверями. Вот. Это сам офис. Вот этот вот китаец. Это типа все картины показаны. Вот компьютер Стэнли. Короче, это весь целый музей, который, так сказать, для Стэнли сделан. Тут все предметы сделаны. Все. Вы можете побродить, тут посмотреть, я особо отвлекаться на прохождение не буду. Тут. Ну, кто смотрит, можете зайти в эту концовку и сами осмотреться в этом музее, а мы ждем концовку, поэтому давайте пройдем все-таки вот этот вот зал.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two.
Нет, только...
You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now.
Нам говорят тупо выключить, но мы выключать не будем, поскольку это не будет не летсплей так-то. Давайте все-таки посмотрим, что же будет, если нас раздавят. Нас убили. Блин. Это плохо, нас убили. А, ну, и что? Черный экран. Достаточно хорошая концовка, черный экран, ребят. Все это типа самим нажимать. Ну туда давайте на этом закончим нашу игру. То есть я вам показал еще две концовки. В прошлом выпуске две концовки, в этом выпуске две концовки, будет следующий выпуск. Я в нем тоже две концовки покажу. Ну и так потихоньку я попытаюсь не выложить все концовки. Спасибо за просмотр. С вами был Fox of Fire. Подписывайтесь, ставьте лайки, пожалуйста. Всем пока.